To say that the body is a prison is quite the commonly held assertion. To say that the body is incompatible with the soul is accepted by many so-called truth seekers. It is commonly held that the body is imprisoning, and that to escape the body is the greatest achievement. This is why death is quite pronounced within religious groups and spiritual sects. The idea is once I pass over, once I finally shed this prison, then I'll be free to do as I shall, without any restraint. But this is absolutely inverted. The body is not incompatible with the soul. The body is not incompatible with the soul. The body is produced in its appearance and in its strength from the other side. Meaning, your soul can be seen on your face. You see what my soul looks like because you're looking at it right now. Most beings are so comfortable with this idea of an invisible world, and there is a difference between an invisible world that one merely wants to hop over to and an intangible presence that one can channel and be with right here, right now. When I say spirit is intangible, I say this because it can only be known through feeling, which isn't exactly tangible, but it's not invisible either. It's not existing in a greater, higher sphere. And the problem with viewing the body as just a prison is that it disallows one from realizing that the body acts as an antenna for spirit, for the soul, for one's soul. So if one is not taking care of one's body, and I'm not saying exploiting one's body, if one is not actually taking care of one's avatar, then one has no right to suggest that a greater experience lies on the other side. It has been said that the body is a temple. Where is the temple of God, of the goddess? You're in it. So if you defile it, if you disrespect it, what does that mean? Is that insignificant? One could say it is insignificant. Do whatever you want to the body, because ultimately it shall perish, and your soul will still be fine, right? I wouldn't be so sure. Now, why is this not really known? The body is never seen as divine. And if it is, there may always be some kind of warning. Like, yes, take care of your body, but just know you're not your flesh and bone. It's like, well, yes, there is a soul. You are not the simple skin you see in the mirror. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm not suggesting just acknowledge you're a body and disregard everything else because, oh, now I'm a body. No. What are our organs, huh? Our organs are organs. An organ in a church, plays beautiful music. Some would say directed towards the divine. Well, what happens when we're tuned in to our avatars and we breathe our divine breath into our organs? Well, we experience communion with spirit. How's that possible? I was not told that I can simply dance or jump or breathe and then that shall lead to a Sophianic communion? That sounds too easy, right? Self-care is the greatest gift you can give to the cosmos. To exploit the body is to overpronounce the physical. I'm not saying overemphasize the physical, but I'm saying emphasize the physical, emphasize the non-physical. Emphasize all of it. You are in a body after all right now. And what you do to your body is not insignificant. And it absolutely reflects your relationship to the entire universe. I have experienced all too often beings who claim to be on a path of awakening. They don't care about the body. In fact, they find it to be gross and disgusting, and they just want to, what, vanish into nothing? This is your form, is it not? Who created this form? It's just randomly generated? It's not randomly generated. And the ailments that our body experiences is reflective of what we are avoiding, because our emotions affect our body. So what is pain? Well, usually, actually always has an emotional root, even if it appears that it originated in the physical. So an example would be if one chooses not to sleep and chooses to treat their body like a dumpster, well, eventually the body is going to feel pain. And eventually the mind is going to feel pain. And one could say that simply occurred because of no sleep or a bad diet. But to act out the disrespect to one's avatar, one needs to already be consenting to emotional illusions. Therefore, how we conduct ourselves in the physical absolutely reflects how aligned we are. Or how unaligned we are. How aware we are of cause and effect, or how unaware we are. I advocate not sweeping anything under the rug. And most people are so damn comfortable with concepts and beliefs. That's easy, because it takes no effort. You can simply stay there and say, oh yes, I believe in paradise, and I believe in a God, and I believe in all that is good. Okay, well, if you do, then why not display it in every action, in every moment, especially towards oneself? And this is where we can get the foolish response of, yeah, but you're not the body, so if you focus too much on the body, then you're too much in the ego. Dumb spiritual falsity. Dumb spiritual falsity. Ultimately, this seems to stem from a hatred of self. You're in a body. You're in an avatar. You can't escape that. And you also can't escape the repercussions from disrespecting your avatar. In fact, the repercussions are obvious. This is a very difficult truth if one has really abused themselves to the point where it's visible. So what we do to our body, we do to our soul. And that reflects on the body. So you ever see twisted looking beings? Maybe you think you look twisted sometimes. Well, most beings here look pretty damn twisted, actually. In their face or in their body, something is slimy or unclean. And thank Goddess for these reflections. Because we are displayed a world where poison seems to be everywhere. You go into any city or neighborhood, what shall you find as far as public offerings? You'll find ways to put things into your avatar, right? Either with drink or with smoke or with food. And most of it is absolute garbage. So we live in the garbage simulation of consciousness. And we have the reflection of all of these beings just engaging in the garbage while not paying attention to what the garbage does to them. So we have a medical system, or so it seems. We have lots of researchers and scientists, and there's all of this dis-ease when it comes to the body. And dis-ease comes from a lack of awareness. The common narrative in this matrix is that a sickness is a phantom ailment, that it has nothing to do with you, that you caught something, or that you developed something because your genes hate you. And this is why there is much mourning when it comes to the body. Because beings surrounding a hospital bed with a dying loved one, dying prematurely, let's say, or not, shall shake their head and say, oh, it's happened too soon, or this is not how he should have gone, how terrible, I'm so glad he's put out of his misery. But it is not terrible to feel dis-ease. In fact, it is a signal from the soul. When we feel burdened by the body, it is a signal from the soul to pay more attention and to exist in more awareness as to our causes and thus as to the effects we receive from our causes. She's